Welcome to the Full Moon Film Buff, episode 165. We are going to talk about Blood and Chocolate from 2007. I rented this from Amazon Prime. I had not seen this before. As always, we start with the prominent crew and cast. You can find links to a more complete credit list in the show notes. This film was directed by Katja von Garnier. The screenplay was by Aaron Kruger and Christopher Landon. The book was by Annette Curtis Klaus, with the effects director being Nick Alder. Katja von Garnier broke through with her 1993 final student film, Making Up. Bandits in 1997 was a German success that got her international work. She relocated to the US. Notable films, Iron-Jawed Angels, Blood and Chocolate, and the Windstorm series followed. We first discussed Aaron Kruger when we covered The Brothers Grimm. Christopher Landon is the son of the famous actor Michael Landon, who we've talked about before. He wrote the TV movie reboot of his father's successful series, Highway to Heaven. Landon is best known for working in the horror and comedy horror genres. He wrote the thriller Disturbia and 6 of the 7 films in the Paranormal Activity found footage horror series. In addition to screenwriting, he directs as well. He directed Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, as well as the horror comedy films Happy Death Day, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, Happy Death Day to You, Freaky, and We Have a Ghost. Landon has 3 older siblings, all actors, including Michael Jr., Sean, and Leslie. He is working on Happy Death Day to Us at the time I record this. Annette Curtis Klaus is a young adult fiction author known for supernatural fiction. Her most notable novels include The Silver Kiss, Alien Secrets, Blood and Chocolate, and Freaks Alive on the Inside. Nick Alder won an Academy Award for Alien from 1979. He got his start back in the 60s on films such as Battle of Britain. Other notable films he's worked on include Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, Conan the Barbarian, Legend, The Jewel of the Nile, Braveheart, The Fifth Element, Behind Enemy Lines, and Blade 2. We've seen his work before on Underworld. His most notable TV project was Space 1999 from the mid-70s. The cast includes Agnes Bruckner as Vivian, Hugh Dancy as Aiden, Oliver Martinez as Gabriel, Katja Riemann as Astrid, and Brian Dick as Ralph. Agnes Bruckner's first major role was as a child actress on the daytime soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful from 1997 to 1999. At the age of 15, Bruckner got her first lead role in the independent film Blue Car. Her notable film credits include Murder by Numbers, Dreamland, and Anna Nicole. After a few TV guest spots, Hugh Dancy rose to prominence as the title character in the television film adaptation of David Copperfield in 2000. Other notable film roles include Black Hawk Down, Ella Enchanted, Shooting Dogs, the Jane Austen Book Club, and Adam. About 2015, he switched to mostly television, appearing on Hannibal, The Path, and Homeland. Dancy currently appears on NBC's revival of the original Law and Order and voices Dr. Otto Octavius on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Oliver Martinez became well known after roles in French films such as Un, Deux, Trois, Soleil, I'm sure I'm butchering that, The Horseman on the Roof, and The Chambermaid on the Titanic. After the turn of the century, he transitioned to Hollywood films, appearing in Before Night Falls, Unfaithful, and SWAT. Katja Riemann first planned to be a dancer before shifting her focus to drama and music. Notable films include Suck Me Shakespeare, Rosenstrauss, and Bandits. Bandits, which was also directed by Katja von Garnier, was a commercial and soundtrack success in Germany, with much of the soundtrack being written and performed by the actresses themselves. She is also an author of children's books and a recording artist. She recently published her debut novel, Nebel und Feuer, Fog and Fire. Brian Dick first trained as a ballet dancer. Later, he was cast as the titular anti-hero in the 90s cult classic, The Life and Times of Henry Pratt. Notable film and television credits include Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, Blackpool, Wolf Hall, 20,000 Streets Under the Sky, The Long Firm, and The Number Station. While my wife would recognize him from Midsummer's Murders, we saw him on Being Human. Now, this is not our first werewolf film with romance elements. That's been present since the earliest days of the genre. And while this film shares the same star-crossed lovers narrative DNA as Underworld, I believe this film is the first real werewolf romance we've seen. If you approach it as a paranormal romance with werewolf elements set against the atmospheric backdrop of Bucharest, it has its charms. The production values are decent, and the Romanian locations give it a gothic European feel that works in its favor. Just don't expect this to be reinventing the werewolf genre. I do ultimately recommend it. I'm not sure if the filmmakers ever intended to create a more faithful adaptation of Annette Klaus's 1997 young adult novel. The book was set in suburban America and approached teenage werewolf themes differently in many ways. While most characters share the same names, everyone is portrayed as significantly older than their novel counterparts. Vivian and Aidan are aged up to 19, while Gabriel is shown to be in his late 30s. In contrast, the book depicts Vivian and Aidan as 16-year-olds, with Gabriel in his early 20s. Vivian's backstory undergoes dramatic changes in the film, particularly regarding her family's death. Her parents make only a brief, easily missed appearance in the movie, whereas Vivian's mother, Esme, plays a much larger role in the book. Roth's character is also altered significantly. He's not Gabriel and Astrid's son in the novel, but rather serves as a potential love interest for Astrid. You see hints of this dynamic remain in the film. Gabriel receives perhaps the most drastically different portrayal. The film presents him as a cruel, harsh, and aggressive pack alpha who sets his sights on Vivian as his next mate, following a pack tradition that requires the leader to take a new mate every 7 years, this transition being entirely invented for the movie. He is the main antagonist, directing his pack to ritualistically hunt and kill humans each full moon, and he orders Aidan to be hunted because of his relationship with Vivian. In the book, however, Gabriel is a reluctant new alpha who only takes over after Vivian's father dies. Their betrothal results from her own poorly thought out reactions rather than his aggressive pursuit. The love triangle between Vivian, Aidan, and Gabriel also reaches a completely different conclusion in each version. In the book, Vivian realizes that Aidan cannot fully understand her nature. He rejects her wolf side, leading her to end up with Gabriel instead. The film takes the opposite approach. While Aidan does experience a brief moment of terror when confronted with her wolf nature, he ultimately accepts her for who she truly is. And after Vivian rescues Aidan from the pack and he heals her from silver poisoning, they escape the city and the pack together to start a new life. The film hints at Vivian's potential as the new alpha, but leaves this unconfirmed. So let's go over the synopsis. 9-year-old Vivian's parents and brother are killed. She barely escapes. 10 years later, she lives in Bucharest with her aunt Astrid, who owns a chocolate store. Vivian attends a club that very much reminds me of an American Werewolf in Paris. In a cathedral, Vivian runs into a graphic novelist, Aidan, who is researching werewolves. He knows enough to intrigue Vivian, who actually is a loup-garou. Vivian's cousin Rolf and his werewolf friends Ulf, Gregor, Finn, and Willem, together known as the Five, almost kill a drunk tourist, but Vivian saves her. She lectures them on the pack's law against killing. Astrid was the mate of the werewolf pack leader Gabriel, who, following pack law, left her after 7 years for a new mate. Occasionally, he returns to sleep with her. She nurses romantic feelings for him. Vivian is disgusted, but Gabriel wants her as his next mate, believing her to be the prophesied woman to bring about a new age of hope for the pack. Rolf visits the drunk girl's apartment, turns into a wolf, and kills her. Gabriel gets a drug dealer out of prison for mysterious reasons. Vivian runs into Aidan and uses some impressive parkour skills to avoid him. So, Rolf is Astrid and Gabriel's son, and something like a loup-garou prince. They all head out for the Hungarian woods for a big monthly pack meeting / party on the full moon. The pack hunts the drug dealer. They turn into a pack of wolves and tear the guy to pieces. Now, Aidan uses a ribbon he found to track down Vivian at the chocolate shop. He wants to take her out before he leaves Bucharest. Rolf finds out about Aidan and threatens to spill their secret. Meanwhile, Gabriel suspects Rolf is hunting without the pack and warns him he cannot protect him if he is. Aidan and Vivian go on a date, monitored by the Five. Aidan reveals his secret. He's wanted for assaulting his abusive father. Vivian does not reveal that she is a werewolf. They do have a nice little musical montage of romantic dates, all observed by the Five. Rolf is jealous and tells Gabriel that Vivian is putting the pack in danger. Gabriel orders Rolf to make Aidan leave the city or die. Rafe lures Aidan to an old church, but fails to scare Aidan away. Aidan shoves Rafe, injuring him. Rafe changes into a wolf and attempts to bite Aidan. Instead, he bites Aidan's silver pendant and backs off in pain. Aidan, realizing the legends are real, charges at Rafe, holding the silver pendant out. Both fall from the balcony and crash onto the church floor. Regaining consciousness, Aidan sees Rafe dying in his human form, with the pendant stuck in his neck. Grabbing the pendant, Aidan leaves the church. Aidan confronts Vivian. He tells her Rolf is dead and dares her to hold the silver pendant. He berates her for not telling the truth and exposing him to danger. He knows that they will connect Rafe's death to him and this death to his father's death. The Five, well, I guess they're just the Four now, discover Rafe's body and present him to Gabriel. Gabriel tells Astrid their son is dead while Vivian watches. Aidan is captured trying to leave the city. Gabriel calls the pack together and presents Aiden to the pack as their prey. Aiden will be free if he can make it across the river at the edge of the forest. Vivian slips free of her confinement and runs into the forest as a wolf to save Aiden. Aiden figures out that they're tracking his blood scent, so he finds a creek and dilutes the scent. He previously stole a silver knife from a restaurant and hid it on him. He uses it to kill a couple wolves and crosses the river. Gabriel tries to kill him anyway, but Vivian attacks Gabriel, who falls into the river. Not recognizing Vivian in her wolf form, Aiden stabs her with his knife. Vivian slowly morphs back to human. Vivian directs Aiden to an abandoned film company building, telling Aiden the residual silver from the film's processing guarantees that no one will look for them there. She needs a silver poisoning antidote soon, or she will die. Vivian confesses that her family was killed by hunters who followed her wolf tracks to their cabin. Aiden sees that she can control the wolf. Astrid tracked them down and arrives with a gun to kill Aiden for payback for the death of her son. Vivian pleads with her, playing the first love card. Astrid relents and gives Vivian the gun. Vivian gets the antidote from the pharmacist and uses it, but the pharmacist alerts Gabriel with a silent alarm. Vivian sacrifices herself to save Aiden. She's captured by the pack. Aiden robs the pharmacist at gunpoint to give him all of his antidote and some silver dust. Turns out the guy has some silver bullets too. Gabriel believed Vivian would be the prophesied leader. Just before Gabriel shoots Vivian, Aiden shows up. He shoots Gabriel, lights the building on fire, and rescues Vivian. She kills Gabriel just as he leaps to kill Aiden. The pair help the four escape the burning building, telling them, "May you know the new age of hope when you see it." They take Gabriel's car to Paris, passing other werewolves who stop alongside the side of the road and bare their necks in signs of respect, which identifies Vivian and kind of Aiden as the new alpha pair for the pack. The transformation sequences in Blood and Chocolate deserve special mention. Rather than the bone-cracking, agonizing changes we often see in werewolf cinema, these transformations are portrayed as fluid, almost sensual experiences. The body itself does not break and transform. Instead, they turn into actual wolves in a burst of light. The transformation into wolf rather than man-wolf hybrid gives the film a more naturalistic approach to lycanthropy. Plus, there's no need for complex werewolf makeup, just trained animals. While not groundbreaking, the effects are good enough to maintain the film's romantic tone rather than emphasizing body horror elements that might clash with the love story focus. Now on to the werewolf lore. First, let's talk about the lore the book and the movie share. Both present loup-garou as a separate species rather than humans cursed or infected with lycanthropy. They have their own culture, traditions, and social hierarchies. They refer to themselves as Homo lupus. The pack structure resembles a feudal system. The alpha controls the pack. The moon doesn't dictate their transformations. They can change at will. They retain all personality and memory in both forms and are not mindless killing machines in werewolf form. Silver is still their primary weakness, but not their only weakness. Destroying the spinal column will kill them too. This is clearly stated in the book. It's only hinted at in the film. They're otherwise portrayed as superior beings who revel in their dual nature and don't reveal themselves to humans due to fear of violent reprisal. This approach removes much of the traditional werewolf tragedy and curse elements, instead presenting lycanthropy as an ethnic identity of sorts. So now let's talk about the differences in lore between the book and the movie. There are two differing accounts of their origins alluded to in the book. Some believe they are descended from a prehistoric breed of canine, which absorbed protein matter from a meteorite, which enabled them to shape-shift into humans, while others believe that they were a tribe of ancient human hunters who were blessed by the moon goddess Selene. Most loup-garou follow the latter account and thus worship Selene as their patron and mother. The film only presents this origin story. The loup-garou in the book have three forms: human, wolf, and a hybrid, while in the movie they don't have that hybrid form. The pack alpha takes a new mate every 7 years. That was added to the werewolf lore of the film. Blood and Chocolate serves as a compelling reimagining of Shakespeare's timeless tragedy, Romeo and Juliet. Though separated by centuries, one set in contemporary Bucharest with werewolves and humans, and the other in Renaissance Verona between feuding families, both works explore universal themes of forbidden love, societal division, and the tragic consequences of prejudice. At the heart of both narratives lies love that transcends established boundaries. In Romeo and Juliet, the Montagues and Capulets maintain an ancient feud so entrenched that its origins are completely forgotten. Similarly, in Blood and Chocolate, werewolves and humans exist in mutual distrust, with centuries of fear creating an insurmountable chasm between the species. The protagonists, Romeo and Juliet, Vivian and Aiden, embody the possibility of bridging these divides through love. Their relationships challenge their community's fundamental worldviews. Romeo's love forces him to question inherited family hatred, just as Vivian's attraction to Aidan compels her to reconsider the pack's isolationist philosophy and view of humans as inferior. Blood and Chocolate's minimalist approach to werewolf mythology serves this romance focus effectively. By removing traditional horror elements, the film prioritizes love story over monster movie thrills, creating a more direct parallel to Shakespeare's human drama and allowing audiences to focus on emotional and social conflicts. Both works present rigidly structured societies that view the protagonist's love as threatening established order. However, Blood and Chocolate makes one significant departure from the Romeo and Juliet template through a fundamental imbalance in the central conflict. Shakespeare presents two equally powerful families locked in mutual hatred. Both the Montagues and the Capulets are active participants in their feud. Blood and Chocolate creates an asymmetrical dynamic, where humanity remains present but largely absent from the conflict. Werewolves live in fear of discovery, while most humans remain unaware that werewolves even exist. This creates an unbalanced rivalry, where werewolves are hyper-aware, while humanity remains blissfully ignorant. This asymmetry transforms the forbidden love story. Romeo and Juliet faced opposition from both families working to prevent their union, while Vivian and Aidan's relationship faces opposition only from the werewolf community. The human world remains oblivious to the supernatural implications. Aidan represents broader human ignorance, entering the relationship unaware of Vivian's nature and the danger that this knowledge creates. This dynamic generates different tensions and tragedies. Werewolf's obsession with secrecy becomes an imprisonment, forcing them to live as outsiders in a world that doesn't even know they exist. Their fear transforms every human interaction into a potential threat, making Vivian's love not just personally forbidden, but existentially dangerous to her community. Violence serves as both symptom and cause of division in both works. Street fights in Romeo and Juliet mirror hunt scenes in Blood and Chocolate. Both represent physical manifestations of ideological conflicts. A particularly striking parallel emerges in accidental killings. Romeo's impulsive murder of Tybalt finds direct counterpart in Aidan's accidental killing of Roth, Vivian's cousin. Both deaths occur in chaos and misunderstanding, with protagonists acting in self-defense rather than calculated malice. These killings represent ultimate breaches of familial bonds, making reconciliation seemingly impossible. Both deaths serve as points of no return. Tybalt's death leads to Romeo's banishment and miscommunications, resulting in the lovers' suicides, while Raph's death exposes the impossibility of Aidan's integration into werewolf society and forces final confrontation between human and supernatural worlds. Blood and Chocolate succeeds as a modern adaptation by maintaining essential elements that make Shakespeare's play eternally relevant while updating the context for contemporary audiences. Both works demonstrate that love, however powerful and genuine, cannot overcome deeply entrenched societal divisions without significant sacrifice and often tragedy. The werewolf-human divide proves as insurmountable as the Montague-Capulet feud, not from inherent impossibility, but from community's unwillingness to question assumptions and prejudice. Like Shakespeare's classic, the romance forces characters to choose between love and belonging. Ultimately, both narratives serve as cautionary tales about the cost of prejudice, the price of rigid social boundaries. While individual love may not transform society, it can catalyze examining and potentially changing the assumptions that do divide us. So, if you like lycanthropes, like, share, and subscribe. Contribute your thoughts and additional observations in the comments below. Let me know what I missed or what you noticed. Next, I plan on discussing Werewolf, the Devil's Hound from 2007. Keep your eye on the moon, a silver bullet in the chamber, and we'll see you back here next episode.